What a mess, huh? What's that? Yeah, all of it, everything, right? You know, one thing that kind of gets me before we get this video started, let's talk about this Asheville, North Carolina incident. Let's talk about the hurricane, right? Hurricane Helen, whatever it was. But first, as we get into that in just a minute here, you know, what's wrong with it? It's always, you know, why don't we just consider what's wrong with this world? And trying to walk with whiskey across the bridge here. He likes to cross the bridge. And it's glass. It never fails. Anytime we cross one of these sidewalks, and sometimes other sidewalks that aren't on the bridge, there's always glass, right? People throwing out their glass. A lot of times beer glass, right? Throwing it out. Freaking fools. You know, this is the thing. If this community wants to bust me for crimes, I guarantee you will. I will have no problem allowing you to bust me for when I find one of these fools busting glass all over the place, and I just yank them out of their car or whatever they're doing, but most likely throwing it out their window of their car, right? Anyways, let's get into this. So anyways, going on in Asheville, North Carolina, right? And over through there, and I got family that lives on two ends of that, you know, just close by to that, and in that area, and they're also under devastation. Not you know, thankfully they're all okay, and they're not as bad as some people had ended up getting it. But these are just some of the things. What have I been telling everybody? Hey, watch out, things are coming. I'm not the only one saying these things, right? But we have our, you know, we can say that we don't have definitive proof on certain things yet or whatever, but we have enough out there that they would try to take any one of us down for far less evidence, right? It goes to show, you know, more what I'm talking about is Americans waiting around for people to come in and save the day all the time, waiting around for a hero. It's up to all of us. We're under war, right? We're under war, and this is one of the things I've been saying, and there's other people saying this, and it's becoming stronger and stronger. But all of this stuff, these are all declarations of war. The things that are going on, okay, let's consider Asheville, okay? FEMA operating on our tax dollars. FEMA is coming up with all this nonsense, right? They can't get into some of these areas, and they're only going into the easy accessible areas. They're turning people away. They now have the cops threatening to arrest people. They are all, you know, it's stuff like that. Anyone trying to bring in help is being threatened with arrest. Anyone refusing to, you know, I'll see about leaving some clips up to some of these videos, and if so, I'll leave also links in the description. But you know, there's several channels I follow, and I've already mentioned most of them here and there in my videos, but they've been talking about this stuff. And
welcome to Demons Row. I'm Sos the Ghost. I'm your host for the evening. Smash the like and share this with your family and friends, because we get so caught up in everyday life. A life, I may add, that is very convenient for the powers that be, that we get so consumed with the day-to-day and making ends meet that most of us don't realize we are in World War III. Not about to be, presently in. And once again, who was it that dragged us into this again? Just look at World War II. Our troops are being sent to foreign countries while our people are being oppressed in crisis situations by FEMA. Now, if you haven't heard, FEMA has offered $750 to people who have lost their homes. And even crazier than that, if you're actually not trapped and you lost your home, FEMA tells you You can't stay in a local hotel. Why, you might ask? Because they're renting out all the rooms for them. So they lay comfortably in their rooms throughout the night and come out to block people from helping those that are trapped. And I'm going to say this, I don't care who your favorite politician is. Those checks to foreign countries will continue to roll out. And when a Hawaii, a Puerto Rico, a New Orleans, a North Carolina gets hit with a natural disaster, they're going to give you a couple of $100. This is the standard that's been set. My friends, we have become a nation of oppressed cowards. No spine, no men. Women are more like men these days. Let's check out this clip from a man who was trying to help people and is being blocked by FEMA.
Are they still not there anywhere? What are you seeing from FEMA in the federal response, if any?
I mean, they're present. They're in the way. They are directly interrupting our ability to conduct missions and operations.
Huh?
And I'm not going to disparage anybody, because we are trying to work within partner relationships, both government and non-government entities within state and federal and county. I went to put a couple of people into a hotel last night, and they have a security guard at the hotel. And they said, "Oh, we're so sorry. The entire hotel has been booked for federal employees." And I was like, no, I have people that would just pull it out of a mountain that are living out in the hills, and there's not a place for me to put them because we have federal employees that are staying in the hotel.
Hopefully you guys are checking this out, and I'm sure a lot of people's already heard about it, right? But the nonsense going on down there between FEMA and even the local law enforcement, all this nonsense, and the people. This is the problem. Right now is the time. Right now is the time. The people need to band together, and you got to watch what you say and careful how you say it. But the truth is, what needs to be done and what needs to happen, that all the people need to band together and say, screw that, you know what? And any officer that wants to stand in the way, you are putting yourself in jeopardy. You are now violating the people. You can join with the people, or you can step aside, or, we're coming through anyways, like it or not. Right? And that's exactly what needs to happen. We got far enough people to do it. Instead, we got these people telling us that all this time our tax dollars can go to this country and that country to help them out with their wars, and go to support all this evil nonsense with against children and stuff like that, and support upside down values, and all this money's going to that. And one thing that hits home with me is all the money they're handing out to support these immigrants, right? And like, I'm not here to dog on the immigrants or whatever you feel about that. I don't care about that. The problem is, the truth is, there should be no reason we couldn't help them. But the problem is, we're helping instead of helping ourselves, right? First and foremost, and we're handing them, bringing them in here, giving them all the shit, paying for all this shit, and meanwhile throwing people out of their homes. And they're currently people who are under disaster, the way they're being treated.
Because this video is important. We are in the middle of a war right now, and I'm going to prove this to you and show you all the receipts. Whether you decide to accept it or deny it is completely up to you. But everybody that has a platform should be putting this information out, because an entire town, all of its people have been decimated and abandoned by the government. Not only has the government turned their back on them, the government that is there is trying to stop all the citizens from helping each other. That's a little bit of overreach right there, and it's going to get even worse. So here we go. If you've got a platform, you should be shining a light on this right now, because the national news is not. Here we go.
We picked up a flight of pediatric medical supplies that were brought in and are going to North Asheville. We were sitting in the private portion of the airport, and we got to overhear an awful lot. The Army pilots, the Navy pilots, hospital representatives, there was a lot of chatter. While we were there, a private jet landed and 4 FEMA representatives got off. Four people off of a private jet. Come to find out, and you're not going to hear this, So let me tell you, come to find out, Mission Hospital was told, a private hospital, that they are going to go ahead and be the morgue center for body recovery. All of the Army Chinook helicopters you're seeing flying overhead, they are doing body recovery. FEMA said, and you can take this as a direct quote, said that they are too tied up at the border to send any more representatives. Yeah, at the border. So anyhow, I guess border control trumps whatever's going on here. So they told Mission Hospital they are not sending refrigerated trucks so that they can stack the bodies up. And we also overheard that whatever fatality numbers you are hearing, and this is a quote, go ahead and add a couple of zeros. So FEMA's too busy with the border. A private hospital and the Army are going to take over body recovery, and private individuals with their private helicopters and their private planes are the ones who are flying in supplies. I was at Hangar 10. I was picking up supplies. There was a stack for the Cajun Navy. There was a stack that looked like it was ASPCA. These are all being sent by private individuals. FEMA is doing nothing. Go ahead and share that.
Husband left their home, came back the next day and found they had 15 cats, 5 dogs, and a father-in-law, and found them all dead except for 4 cats. And the story was hard to hear. But it's the look in her eyes that I can't forget. Last night, somebody was at the river and just looking at the destruction and cars upside down, and saw Halloween costumes floating down a river. And then she saw faces and realized they weren't costumes. She said, I've seen bodies and I'm not okay with that. And then somebody called and said, when is somebody gonna come collect all the bodies that have piled up along the embankment of the river? And then a man called saying, I need 911 at my house. And somebody said, why? Are you okay? And he said, yes, I'm okay. But I opened my front door and there are several bodies in my front yard.
You deserve to hear this. I'm a truck driver, all right? I have a 53-foot step deck. I've been trucking for about 2.5 years. I have a YouTube channel. You can verify that on Babyline Hotshot. Usually in a disaster situation, it is payday for truckers. We look for that hurricane. We look for that ice storm. There's generators coming to you. There's stuff coming out of military bases. There is excavators, skid steers, bulldozers, tree trimming equipment, pumps, like water pumps to pump water out of places that have been flooded. There's no loads on the load board coming to you within 125 miles of Asheville.
Over there, this is it. It's far beyond the point of, you know, one of my other videos, whether I uploaded it yet or not, I don't know, where I talk about, I've maybe mentioned it once before, you know, the 3%ers, right? The militias, yeah, a bunch of sissies, okay? That's all it is, right? Because the truth is, where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? These are acts of war. These are the times that the people need you to stand the hell up and do your job, that you claim this is the reason you exist, okay? Then what's up? Right? What's up? Our government is forcing people to die, is what's going on over there, right? Our government is forcing people to die, forcing people to lose their homes, forcing people to lose everything. And what is it for? If people are doing the digging, they're finding out that there's a big lithium deposit there. So, you know, for the batteries, of course, you know, so all these super rich, even like you got Elon Musk pretending he's trying to help over there. They'll help you clean up. But the point is, this all happened to get the people out of there. And we've been talking about their plans to off billions of people worldwide. And this is happening one thing at a time, one thing after another. And it's ramping up and ramping up. And we've already, you know, I've discussed a little bit, and my website used to have great big detail about it, where we've proved about weather manipulation and controlling weather patterns.
Let's first discuss what is a hurricane and how they're formed. That's a hurricane. Notice it's out in the middle of the ocean. How are they formed? Hurricanes being formed as tropical disturbances in areas of the ocean that are warmer with temperatures of at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit. These disturbances are because of low pressure caused by the warm sea. If the ocean temperature continues rising, a storm forms. The speed of the storm may vary, but when it reaches 38 miles, it becomes a tropical depression. The tropical depression gradually develops into a tropical storm and acquires a name when it reaches wind speeds of 39 miles an hour. When the storm sustains wind speeds of 74 miles an hour, it's declared a hurricane. Hurricanes produce a staggering amount of energy by absorbing the moist and warm ocean air and releasing it through condensation during thunderstorms. Hurricanes revolve around a calm, low-pressure center, or the eye, that can be 20 to 30 miles wide. The spinning part of the hurricane is known as the eye wall, and it's responsible for the strong winds and rain. This is a map, as you can see, and Asheville, North Carolina is at 2,200 plus feet above sea level. So it's up there. It's almost a half a mile above sea level. And it's also a 6-hour and 29-minute or 398-mile drive away from the ocean. I don't care what new science has to say. Science has shown that the reason we get hurricanes in Boston is because we're on the ocean. The reason Florida gets hurricanes in hurricane season is because they're surrounded by the ocean. The reason that Charlestown, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, Norfolk, Philadelphia, New York sometimes experience hurricanes is because they're on the ocean. And as you can see, eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina are not near the ocean whatsoever at all. So, what am I saying here? Well, I'm going to say that this storm was steered and manipulated exactly like Hurricane Helene in 1958 was. Oddly enough, this storm attained hurricane strength on September 26, and conditions became increasingly favorable for a tropical cyclone development. And guess where it landed? Yeah, same thing, same time, except in this storm, the military was experimenting by dropping dry ice in this to see if they could anger or control or steer the storm in a certain way. Well, that was back in 1958, and let me explain something to you right now. Times have changed and technology has changed, and your government has been working on how to own the weather in 2025, 2 months, my entire life. And this is the entire playbook. I've been passing this playbook around for time immemorial, and people just don't seem to care.
And stuff like that. And what they do, they bring in this massive weather, and under that massive weather, they're causing other shit to happen, flooding out these areas, causing big disasters, okay? And, and now we got storms hitting, prepping. You want to prep? This is proving that they're coming after you no matter what, and there's, your prepping ain't gonna matter. Anyone over there in North Carolina, preppers or anyone, nobody's prepared for this. That is not a hurricane zone, right? Like I used to tell my brother for a couple years now, hey, get away from the East Coast, shit's gonna start going down. And no one ever listens, right? But I've told him many times, get away from the East Coast because shit's gonna start going down. Oh, well, I'm not really the East Coast, technically, right? I'm far enough away, right? And well, look here, look what's going on, right? And, we're under attack every which way you look, and this is just one more way. And now there's hitting areas. If you notice that the people getting hit the most lately with all this shit is the ones that will be the issue, right? The ones who can fend for themselves, the preppers and the people who don't need all this society nonsense. That the way it, who can sustain themselves, and this is what they're coming after now. Okay, we're screwed, and it's already going too far, and no one's standing up and doing nothing. It's the nastiness going on down there in North Carolina. Any of us who ain't there just can't even understand, right? And like I said, I'll try to post some clips up, but this should have, where's the militias pushing through over there? Where's the shit that holding people accountable? Our government's telling us, oh, well, we can't get in there. We're gonna let people, even though volunteers can get in there, but we're gonna let these other people suffer, our own Americans, while we've been spending billions to bail out every fucking buddy else. And we're okay with that? We're okay with that? It's our money. This is our government, and they're telling us, screw you, we'll kill you off, we'll do whatever. Okay, they've made their moves. This is just one more major move against us, right? Today it's Asheville. Who is it tomorrow? Anyways, other stuff on, it's just all the nonsense everywhere you look. Now you got the P. Diddy stuff too, and it's like, what did we expect? First of all, I won't take no credit for it because I never did support anything of his, who is a nobody that came from nowhere and had no one knows, he had no talent. How did he become some billionaire, right? And but he did, right? And you make a thug some billionaire, that means something, and you wonder why this kind of shit happens. And it all goes to show you that everyone at the top is nothing but scum. Everyone in the entertainment industry is nothing but scum. We need to break them all, right? Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep all of his commandments. For that is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. See ya.